So, Tracey, you've done your net zero training, and I've done mine as well. I did mine this week. So, how did you find it?
I found it really interesting. I found it quite easy to do. It took me about 40 minutes, but I've heard people do it in a lot less time, but it probably took me longer because I was so interested in it.
And what would you say you think were like the top things you took away from it, or the things that stick out after having done it?
Yeah, the biggest standout for me was I guess the concept of net zero. I've heard that phrase bandied around for a very long time, but I didn't really fully understand what that concept was getting at, and what that training did sort of make clear to me is about the NHS, and we all personally do put carbon emissions into the world. And I guess the concept of net zero is if we all do a little bit to take a bit out by taking steps in our day-to-day lives, then that's what gets that balance of net zero. So that was the biggest learning that I took from it. And then the biggest takeaway for me was about realizing the difference that I could make in the choices I make every day. Some little things I could do every day, but some bigger things I could do as well, such as it's actually made me on a personal level be really clear now that my next car will be an electric car. And I think I'm not sure without that training I necessarily would have made that decision, although I now realise that should have been the decision I've made. So that was the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah. So, what would you say to people who were thinking of doing it, but are thinking, oh, 40 minutes or whatever it is, I've got all these other things to do. Like, really, is this just not another thing on the list to do?
Uh, I guess I'm going to make a plea to people to please do the training, because I think that training is simply explained, and a lot of what will change things in the world is hearts and minds and people buying into changing how we live our lives every day. So I would make a plea that training on a really simple level, and because it focuses on the NHS, it gives us some good examples that we can all link to. So I would just make a plea that people do the training. Everyone will find it interesting and easy to do. So so yeah, that's my plea.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Matt.